Fantastic. So, hello everybody, and good. Well, it's afternoon now. So, um, I'm a very brick and mortar person, though I've sold technology all my life. But I love the real feel of meeting people and sitting in a room. But alas, we have to adopt technology and move ahead. So therefore, we going online these days a lot. Um, but still, just to have a feel of well the amazingly huge room that we are in all across the globe today on this laptop screen. If you can see me, if you can see me and hear me, to, I want all of you guys to just, reach out and say hello to me. Or rather, just everybody go to the chat box and type yay, Y-A-Y, so that I know that you're alive and I'm not talking into a blank screen first. All right. Brilliant. So the ticker starts moving. All right. So that was a quick tech check as well, that things are working fine. So brilliant, and welcome to today's session of, leadership. Um, it's an extremely interesting topic. I think one which all of you would possibly be very keen in. Simple reason that whatever dreams, whatever success, whatever we envision for our future, very often leadership and becoming a leader is somewhere, in each of our dreams. Um, you would have heard a lot about what it takes, what a great leader is like. And we're always given examples of what great leadership is and who are the great leaders and who we're supposed to look up to and learn from and blah, blah, and so forth. But this is not what I'm going to do today. All right. So today we're going to be looking at what it takes to become a great leader. And the reason that I'm taking this different spin on today's conversation is because I'm sure you guys already have a lot of access to internet and to talks and to a lot of experiences which will tell you what a great leader is like. But I think most of you today are from a very young age bracket, and I think it will be more useful for me to share my thoughts on how to get from point A to point B, right? So it's great to know what a great leader is like, but how in the world do you go from where you are to becoming that kind of an aura and that kind of a personality, right? So I'm going to focus my talk today on what it takes to become a great leader and how you can start working from today towards that goalpost. So how I'm going to do this talk is that well, you're going to be stuck with me for a little while I blah blah. In the meantime, if you have any serious questions, you can of course put them up in the Q&A box or wherever. From time to time, I will, just like I asked you to type in the chat box now, ask you to type something there. If I do, then please do respond, because otherwise I have no way of figuring out whether you guys are actually there or not. All right. So I think let's start. And I have a few slides with me. I'm sure you can see me throughout the presentation anyway, somewhere at the top of your screen. But I'm going to be using a few slides so that well, it's easier to retain when you look at the text as well. Also, I would urge all of you, and this is a tip not just for today's meeting, but for any kind of session that you take up in life, it's always good to have a writing pad and a pen and paper with you, right? Believe me, there have been so many scientific studies around learning, and unfortunately, our education system teaches us a lot, but doesn't teach us how to learn. Okay, and one of the key aspects of how to learn, what helps is really jotting things down, because the way the brain functions, when you write things down yourself, you retain it much faster in the long run. So feel free to keep jotting down whatever, whenever there's a small bulb that goes off in your head and you resonate with anything that I say. At this point, I'm going to switch the screen now. Looking for that button. Okay, so if you see the screen, then I've written leadership 2.0 over there. And just to make sure that you can see the screen, just write L2 so that I know that you guys can see the screen. Just write L2 for Somebody is saying something in the middle. Um, I don't know. Can you guys still hear me and see me? I'm really not too sure right now.
Ma'am, it's clear, ma'am.
It's clear. All right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, good to go.
So, all right, cool. So I'll kick off here. A big welcome to all of you. I cannot see you, but I guess this is what most of you look like. Students from all over. I think possibly a lot of you fall into the engineer category. So welcome to all of you. Hopefully you will start looking a little bit better and smarter in the future as you go closer towards becoming leaders, right? So today I'm going to talk to you about, well, my better half. And what I mean by my better half is not, well, the way that the term is usually used in terms of another person, but my better half of my life, right? So I'm 44 years old and I've now been working for 22 years. So I'm here to share my experiences with you in terms of my learning of how to become, how to inculcate the qualities that a real true leader should have, based on my learnings of these 22 years of my career. All right. So just a very, very quick introduction to myself. My name is Gitika Sehgal. For those who are not familiar with me, I'm a writer. I'm a best-selling author. I'm a 5-time TEDx speaker. I'm told that I'm a digital influencer, though unfortunately I don't get paid the way fashion bloggers and other influencers do. And yes, I for my work, I won a few accolades here and there. The reason that I'm sharing this slide with you is not to brag about myself, but it is just for you to share with you that whatever that you're seeing on the slide and my introduction, the way it's given these days, it's all happened in the span of last 2 years. Right, that is it. So when I talk about my 22-year career, and then the slide that I share with most people, or the way that I'm introduced on stage by most people, is whatever I've done just in the last 2 years. That's in a way shocking, but also exciting, because what it really means is that everything that you are learning throughout your career is adding to your story, right? We all have a story to tell, and how the story adds up really takes you towards the climax, as they say. So it's extremely important, as you guys go along the journey, you keep learning through your journey as in your career, so, because you never know when your 2 years are going to come and take you to bigger heights. um, I keep getting this pop-up where somebody is requesting to annotate the shared content. Am I supposed to decline or approve? Hello? One of the,
It's up to you, ma'am. Ma'am.
okay, no, so I'm fine. I can control myself, not an issue.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Okay, so great. So the whole idea of the presentation, like I told you today, is for me to share with you how to take life and what kind of learnings to incorporate along the way, so that you become tuned to becoming great leaders of tomorrow, right? But first of all, tell me, who in the meeting here has heard of the name Bennis, Warren Bennis? Anybody? If you've heard the name Bennis, write Warren Bennis, WB, in the chat, and let me see if you've. Uh, where is the chat box supposed to be here? Yes, ma'am. Okay, all right. Brilliant. Well, Warren Bennis is supposed to be the, well, father of leadership. Okay, literally, just like you might have heard of Peter Drucker in terms of marketing, and management, that is, or Philip Kotler in terms of marketing. Well, Warren Bennis is supposed to be the father of leadership. And when you guys shared this quote with me right in the beginning, when you guys invited and made the poster, it immediately made me think of Warren Bennis and how he really got the concept of leadership into management, because he's also one of the great people who said this line that you guys have quoted in your social media post, that leaders are not born, they are made. And that's an amazing thing, because normally we connote these kind of things with qualities or hereditary things or personality traits that you're just born with, but it's not true, right? Leadership is a skill, right? Just like all the other skills that you learn every day in your educational degrees and in your qualification, leadership too is a skill. And that's great news, because when something becomes a skill, then it becomes learnable and it becomes teachable, right? So therefore, it's a great opportunity for you guys to inculcate this skill as you go through your career. Also, it's extremely important that um, uh, you know that you actually start inculcating all these true habits of leadership into your daily lifestyle, because otherwise you really land up like this guy. He's brilliant in class, he's brilliant at his engineering, he's brilliant in his studies, so he understands, like they say, heat transfer and the whole concept behind it, but he still burns his popcorn, right? What does that really mean? That it means that at the end of the day, you need to learn the real practical traits of what leadership actually means in order to become a great leader. And it's not just enough to read articles and hear people, even for that matter, in terms of what a great leader is. It's extremely important to start putting these things in practice. So that's going to be our objective for today, to not end up like this really sweet guy over here. Because at the end of the day, okay, leadership, or rather life, or reaching your success or goalpost is not a straight road. You might have seen, whenever we look at presentations, or even whenever we Google stuff, right? Whenever somebody's talking of success, they always show this long, deep, wide road going away into a lovely place, right? But life is not like that, okay? And reaching success is also not like that. It's more like a very confused kind of map, and you need to know how to maneuver that map in order to reach your destination. So whilst all of you guys probably are right now today at the starting point of your careers, in whichever field, in whichever sphere, in whichever industry and skill sets you might be utilizing, you're very much at the start point, and I'm very, very glad to be here with you today to share some of my gray cells and gray hair with you. Well, let's start off with the first learning which I had in my career, and it takes me back some 22 odd years. So I was this amazing, how should I say, very high energy person when I started my career long back, right? And I was so totally charged up to just move ahead no matter what. And I was full of excitement and ambition. I was an extremely ambitious person, right? And this is probably the start of my career, because I thought going ahead and becoming successful and becoming a leader actually meant that there was cutthroat competition and I had to do whatever it takes to get ahead in life, right? But this was the one thing that I learned very early in the so-called rat race, that the picture doesn't have to look like that. The picture is somewhat like this. In order to become a great leader, in order to become successful, you don't literally have to trample all over all the other rats, okay? You don't have to trample over each other to move ahead. What you need is to learn collectively and to work together. And that's one of the key learnings that I had about becoming a great leader when I was just starting out like you guys. And the crux of it was that it's really about working with people and not against people, right? No matter what it takes, it's extremely important. If you want to get ahead in life, then you have to have the quality of being able to work with human beings, to not compete, but to actually collaborate. And this is the learning that I had, because really, when you are starting out your career, it's not about getting to be number one. You have to realize that you already are number one, right? You are number one in your own sphere, in your own capacity. in your own version, right? And you don't need to be trampling over other people or over competing. What you really need to be focusing on as you start your career is to learn how to collaborate. Because when you collaborate with other people, right, you actually learn from them. That is the most amazing way. And in fact, like I said, learning is also an art. And the best way to learn is experiential learning, right? Even a lot of people like Byju's and this and that, everybody, they're all talking about experiential learning these days, right? Because when you experience something yourself, that stays with you. So when you learn to work with people from the right at the very beginning of your career and learn the importance of collaboration, you understand that the power of we is always greater than the power of I. There's much more power in this than there is in this one little finger, right? And therefore, when you start out your career, if you want to grow to become a great leader and at some point of time, then you have to learn how to start working with people and learning from them right at the very start. And if at any point of time you're confused and you're wondering, tough decisions. Should I override somebody? Should I backstab somebody? Should I push somebody aside to move ahead? Always ask yourself this question: what would a true leader do? And you will know the answer. All right. Um, the strange thing, as I started traversing through my career, I started seeing a lot of people already ahead of me in the journey, right? Who I started noticing seemed to, on the outside, have it all. Okay, they seem to be going great in their careers. They seem to be earning very well. They seem to have bought all the right cars, which I was still looking at buying, right? And yet, if when I started reaching that point, I started realizing that a lot of my peers had already started feeling dissatisfied and regretting Monday, right? So you will realize this soon enough in life, just after being a few years in your career, that most people do get to some version or the other of success, but yet they are not happy. And the reason for that is because they're not, the dreams that they've been following are just something which have been told to them by others. And this is one of the great leadership principles which you should learn to inculcate right at the very beginning, which is to always question yourself with the why. Okay, because the why is extremely, extremely important. Even for example, when you're, large corporations who've grown a lot and who've successful under great leadership. Why is that so? Because they have a very clear vision. Okay, they have a very clear vision of why they are doing what they are doing. Look at Apple. Apple's vision is extremely clear, right? And which is why Apple is able to grow year on year again and again. So if you consider yourself also like another organization, then you have to keep asking yourself the why do I want to go ahead and take up this field? Why do I want to join that organization? Why do I want to move up here? And always ask yourself why you are looking for what you are. The moment you start doing that, you will start getting a lot of clarity in life, because otherwise you will end up like a situation where this guy was, and one day he just felt that he'd lost his mojo. Does anybody recognize this guy? If you do, write his name. Exactly. Mayuresh Bhattacharya has written the first one, that this is actually Austin Powers, right? And the idea is that you should always go through life knowing what your vision is, and all great leaders also know what their life's vision is, right? That's one of the main pillars of leadership, because at the end of the day, if you're going towards your goalpost of success, you need to understand, right? You need to understand that that every dream has to be yours. The vision of your life has to be extremely, extremely clear, which is why when I was a kid, I used to read these books of, one of which was Alice in Wonderland. And I really understood that when you grow up, you have to start living your life like Alice, which means you have to keep the childlike curiosity bug inside of you. We are told today, right, that great leadership, especially in today's time, is all about innovation, right? But where does this innovation come from? And what is innovation really? Innovation is really about keeping that bug of curiosity in yourself, right? So you have to remain curiouser and curiouser throughout your life. And that is how you build innovation and an innovative mindset within yourself and within the organization that you're working for and the teams that you start to lead, right? Another interesting learning that I had through my career, again, is that mom is always right. I know this is a strange one, but this is what I learned. And what is it that I meant by this? We are told, right, that, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. We are told a lot of times that what others think doesn't matter. Don't think about dunya kya kehti hai and log kya sochte hain. Do your own thing. But as I moved through my corporate career, I realized that there is a fine print attached to that approach, because it does matter. Come on, guys, it does matter what other people think about you. It does matter how the world perceives you, because based on that perception, you are going to move ahead in life in your various corporate, creative, or any kind of journeys that professional journeys that you are going to go ahead. So what I realized was that it is extremely important from day one of your career. It is extremely important that you start investing in building your brand. Okay. What do I mean by that? It means that you have to start building the persona that you are. Think about any great leader today, right? Any great leader. And therefore, you will immediately know what they stand for, what principles they stand for, and um, uh, you know, immediately have an imagery of who they are and what they are like in your mind. Okay, which means that they have built up a me brand. So you also very consciously throughout your career should be focusing on building your me brand, which means you have to be true to your identity and what your strengths are. You have to play to your strengths to win this game in life, right? And create your own identity around it. You have to understand who you want to be and who you want to become, and start learning to become that kind of person. Because remember, at the end of the day, there will be times in your life where you change jobs, okay, or you change your path. But remember that whether you're working with a big brand or not, or whether you're working with a small startup company, right, what you stand for should be very clear. You would have heard, lots of times you hear in interviews also, you're asked this question: what do you bring to the table? Right? So you have to constantly ask yourself this question, that if I lose everything, still, who am I, right? Which means, what is it that I bring to the table every time, no matter what kind of professional scenario I am put in, whether I'm working in a large team or whether I'm working in individual capacity, whether I'm working in a large brand or whether I'm starting a new startup on my own, right? What is it that you get to the table? And once you start investing in yourself and building that brand, you will immediately be actually, without even knowing yourself, subconsciously making yourself into the leader that you want to grow in tomorrow. Now, I really don't know how your careers will go. Okay, I don't know you personally. I don't know how your careers will go, how you will, what each professional journey of yours would look like. But what I can predict with 100% certainty for each and every person on this meeting platform today is that at some point of time or the other, you will lose, you will break, you will fail and fall, and you will hurt, right? But the point is, at that point, everybody is going to tell you to go with your gut, right? So many times we are taught in life, exactly. So many times we are taught in life to just follow our gut, because the gut never lies. But here's the thing, and this is the thing which most of us don't understand or overlook in life. that the gut is just a muscle, just like the brain is. Okay, it's trainable. What you need to do in order for your gut to guide you correctly through life, okay, is to be able to train your gut just like all of the other things that you train in your life. And to do that, because when you do that, then your gut will always be giving you the right guidance and the right answers. Okay, so when you think of leadership, right, you think of these great big decisions, right? The right kind of decision making power is one of the big qualities of a great leader, right? But how do these people learn to take the right decisions? Okay, every day we are given choices, A or B, one or two, and we are supposed to take decisions. Same with great leaders. People keep knocking on their door all of the time, every day, just with what to do next. Right, right. So Eben PM is saying by experience. Perfect, perfect, Eben. That's a lovely observation and answer. So how do you do this? You do this by building context in your life. Now, what do I mean by building context? Okay, building context is that as you traverse through your career, okay, you have to keep focusing on how to train your gut. Means you have to read as much as you can, as much as you can lay your hands on. You have to learn to observe other people that you look up to, okay, and not just one person. Never idealize just one person, because different people will teach you different things, and you should be able to pick up qualities of different people, right? Like we all idealize Steve Jobs, but not everything was great about Steve Jobs, but there were two three amazing things that he had. So pick out those, stalk the hell out of him, and learn all the good traits that he had, right? Similarly, observe other people and start inculcating those qualities from them. And then, of course, experiment, do new stuff, right? And learn to experience through life. Only when you start doing all this will you learn through experience of how to make great decisions, of how to trust your sixth sense, as we call it. In an essence, what does it mean? In an essence, it means that it's not all about just work. Okay, it is also about what you do outside of work. Okay, because whatever you do outside of work will, to a very large impact extent, have a great impact on who you are tomorrow. Right? Remember, you are not just your job. You are not just your title. You are not just the brand of the company that you represent. You are you, and you have to focus upon whatever it is that you do outside of your work, so that you start to learn more, experience more, and grow more. Do things which, for example, I'll give you an example. Great leaders, they have the risk taking ability, right? So start doing things outside of your workspace which require a little bit of risk, or which require a little bit of guts or courage, maybe even a simple thing like bungee jumping, right? Learn to do that, or something that you're scared of, try to do it, try to overcome that fear. When you try to learn to face your fears head on and to push yourself and you challenge yourself, then you're automatically building all the qualities which a great leader possesses. Okay, so the fifth out of, I think this is this is the probably the last couple of thoughts that I want to share with you. And what I've learned through my life is that the big breaks, the opportunities, right? We keep thinking that, oh, he got such a great opportunity, and that's how he jumped up in his career and things like that. The point is, not all big opportunities in your career will come in pretty packaging. Some of them will, like this great job offer that you got, when you're coming out. But not all of them will be as pretty. Um, so one of the great signs of a great leader is that you should have the ability to keep your focus on, and the ability to be able to recognize these opportunities. Okay, because opportunities don't always come in the right packaging, and the way to do that is to go beyond your comfort zone and to deliver more than what your goals that you set yourself. Now, what do I mean by that? Throughout our career, we keep focusing on goal setting. Okay, even I teach a lot of goal setting, right? But the problem is that we get restricted by our own goals. Okay, and we don't go beyond them. So even when you start working, you're always given targets, right? So you're given a target, you meet a target, and you're given a reward. Then you're given a target, you meet a target, and you're given a reward, and you keep going in this loop. Now, what happens when you keep going in this loop? You get stuck. Okay, you get stuck and you're not able to move ahead, and you're not able to grab the opportunity and seize the opportunity. So in order to move ahead, you need to be able to start challenging yourself further, and you need to start pushing the goalpost up and sideways and left and right. So you need to not be constrained by just your goals, but you need to do beyond your ability and beyond what is expected by you. All right. And if you, because if at the end of the day, if you do just what is asked of you, then you will get what they want to give. Okay, so remember that if you want to move ahead in life, right, if you want to move up in life, and if you want to go towards leadership, then you have to keep pushing yourself harder and harder, and you have to start delivering much more than what is asked by your organizations. Okay, which means what? Which means you really have to think strategically like a leader, but you have to work hard like somebody who's just joining the board, which means always remember this line: think like a CEO, but work like an intern. Okay, which will really hone you and put you together to become a great leader of tomorrow, because you're tuning your brain to think objectively like a leader should do, but at the same time you're working your butt off in order to move faster ahead and ahead. So like I said, one thing that I can predict is, right, one thing that I can predict is that at some point of the time in your life, in all of these journey, not once, probably like me, many a times you're going to fall. Okay, but the main thing and the great thing about leadership, if you look at any leadership's any leader's life story, pick up any great successful person that you think is successful, I will not share any name, right, and look at their biography or look at their journeys. They will all talk about how they changed obstacles into opportunities, or how they went from failure to success, right? Nobody typically shares about the great stuff that they did, or the day they got their pay hike, or the day they got their great bonus. Those are all the outcomes, okay, of whatever they did. But the learning actually failures. Okay, and so you have to remember that falling is not equal to failing. Okay, failing is when you don't learn from the fall, when you don't get up from the fall, when you get defeated from the fall. So it is important that you keep falling in life, and I'm going to repeat this, okay, because it sounds counterintuitive. It is important that you keep falling in life, because if you keep falling in life, it means you're trying out new stuff, and you're trying hard, and you're trying difficult stuff, which is what is going to make you move ahead. Because life at the end of the day, like they say, is not a linear graph. Okay, you will come down, but you have to learn how to move back again, right? And believe me, just when they, why is it important, not just in leadership but in life also, like when they say at the deathbed, right, what do you regret the most? What is the biggest regret of everybody, whether they're successful, non-successful leaders, or just one of the pack, one of the lot, right? The biggest regret in life is the regret of not trying. Okay, and that is bigger than the regret of falling or of hurting, of so the regret of not trying out new things. So you have to start building this moving beyond the obvious trait within yourself, if you want to start inculcating the qualities of a leader. A leader never thinks what if. Okay, remember, a leader's mindset never thinks what if. A leader's mindset always thinks what next. So stop thinking what if and start thinking what next, right? And always ask yourself, am I falling enough? Okay. I know all of us try to move away from falling and failing and not hurting. But you have to constantly ask yourself this question in life: am I falling often enough? If you are not, then that is a problem, because that means you're just drifting through life. Okay. And this is the last learning that I have that I want to share with you. Okay. One of the many, but I've curtailed it to my top 7 right today. Um, and the last one is actually my favorite one. Once you start going into your careers, right? Once you start your jobs, or wherever you join, or your own companies and your own organizations, you will all get very busy. Okay, you will have a zillion things to do, right? But the trick about being successful at what you do is not about being busy. It's not about just working hard. It's not about just putting in 12 hours, 14 hours a day, right? It's about doing the right stuff and doing it the right way. Okay. So the very, very important thing in life and in your career is that don't just get busy, get clarity. You should have clarity in terms of what you want to do, where you want to go. Okay. If these two things, and who you are. So your A point should be, you should be very clear about who you are, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what makes you you, and what do you bring to the table. That's your point A. And your point B, which is your vision and where you want to go and why do you want to get there and who do you want to be, that should be extremely clear. So you should have clarity in your life and what you want to do. The how to do it, uske liye to hazaron log baithe hain to guide you. You'll have a lot of people in your journey, right? And the way to do that, right? Shalu Thomas is saying the harder you fall, the harder you learn. Very good, Shalu. So the way that you do that is that you have to continuously learn. And this is one of the biggest fallacies, one of the biggest things that people don't realize about great leaders. Great leaders are people who have continuously learned to grow. They don't stop growing. They don't say, okay, ab to main CEO ban gaya, so now I don't need to learn anything. Believe me, we are going through a pandemic right now, and they're all talking about how the economic status is changing, how the world is changing, what leadership 2.0 looks like. Well, I'll tell you what leadership 2.0 looks like, right? Leadership 2.0 means that great leaders of tomorrow are not going to be the people who are the smartest or the richest or even the wisest, but they're going to be the people who have the skill to adapt, who have the skill to change with changing times and to change the strategies with changing time. Okay, so if you want to become a great leader of tomorrow, and I'm sure you all have the opportunity to do so, and all you have to build is the ability. And which is that one key ability? The ability to always adapt, because you don't know how the world is going to change. If your situation, if your environment changes, then the way that you have to traverse through it will also change. Okay, and that's what a great leader does. And the only way that you can start becoming like that today is by learning skills every day. Wake up every day and say, what is the one small new thing that I'm going to do today? Right? At least every week you should have learned one new thing. It need not be cracking design thinking or something as big as that, but any small thing, even something as small as, how should I put it, learning how to make a good CV. Even that's a skill. You will be making your CV many times in your career. So maybe one of the weeks you should just start learning from somewhere or do a course or whatever on how to build a great CV. Okay, so do every week something new. Keep adding to new skills, because that is what a leader does. And always remember that all this to-do list and all is great, but it is basically for managing your time, right? If you want to look at how to manage your career, then have a to-be list. Not just to-do list is for daily stuff. To-be list is for your career and life stuff. Who do you want to be? And then start working backwards in terms of what skill sets you need to develop in order to become the leader that you want to become. Because when you start doing all this and when you start taking action of all these hows, it's not enough to know what great leadership qualities are. But like these small 7 points, if you start inculcating many other points into your daily schedule, then you will really not just be drifting away in life, but you will be learning to swim in life. Okay. And that's what great leaders do. They don't just look for a path, they make their own path by taking action, not by waiting and wondering, but trying something new, even if they fail. So really, if you all put it together, my few bunch of learnings in terms of how to become a great leader in our changing worlds tomorrow, Leadership 2.0, right? Oh my God, who just spoke up? Okay, it is to remember from your start that you have to start working as we. The concept of we is something all great leaders know. We is greater than I. Number one, we is greater than I. Second is always keep that childlike curiosity on, just like Alice, just like Austin Powers, whoever, right? Always question the why and keep that innovative childlike spirit alive in you, because that is what great leaders have with them. Focus on building your me brand, right? Think of any great leader, he has this great, you can immediately envision him. How? Right? Because he's built a me brand just like any top organization does. You should also focus on what makes you you, your qualities, right? Fourthly, hone your gut. Okay, it is not a baseless instrument. It is a very scientific muscle, and in order to hone your gut so that it guides you to make the really big decisions in life, important decisions in life, you have to start building context, right? The fifth is you have to keep challenging yourself to not just achieve your goals, but start doing beyond your goals and doing new things, which means what? Focus on all of the life that you have outside of your workplace. And are you doing enough exciting, challenging, crazy stuff and stuff that teaches you, like reading and stuff, outside of your work? So build on that. Always take risks, keep falling, don't shy of failure, right? Have no regrets in life. Remember that line, not what if, but what next. And finally, always have the list of to be, who do you want to be, because that will give you the kind of clarity which leaders possess. Leaders are not confused people, leaders are clear people, and that is how they're able to just make the biggest decisions for their multi-billion dollar companies with great clarity and confidence. They lead a purposeful life, which is why you will never see them ending up in situations of being successful and yet being unhappy, because they have been true to themselves and following their dreams. So like they say, I'm very, very pretty sure that you guys all have the potential to become great leaders of tomorrow. Why? Okay, it's not just a line that I'm giving. Why am I able to say that? Because today you made a choice. Today you made a choice to take out 1 hour of your time and your day to come here for this particular meeting. You could have done anything else. You could probably have done nothing or just switched another channel on Netflix, but you chose to come here, which means you're investing in your future. You care about your future and you're passionate about it. These are all leadership qualities. So I know that all of you have the ability to become leaders in your journeys as you go on beyond college, but just be very clear in terms of choosing your dreams correctly, that they are your own, right? Just like all leaders follow their heart and their dreams, because like they say, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. Thank you very much. And at this point, I'm going to flip back to the main screen. Okay, so that was my bit in terms of what I wanted to say today. And I'm happy to go back to the organizers at this point and ask them how to want. I'm open to any kind of thing at this point, questions, answers, whatever you want.
Go for a quick Q&A section, shall we?
Yeah, sure, please.
Yeah, the participants can ask your questions in the chat box. You can post your questions over there. Ma'am will be answering your questions.
Okay, Shameen is saying thank you for great advice. Johnson is saying nice presentation. Pratiksha says thank you. Nimi says thank you. I'm waiting for questions, but yeah, Jayashree says nice session. Eben says thank you. How to accept failure, ma'am. All right. Ramya is asking how to accept failure in life. About just accepting it. You have to give yourself a pat on the back. When you fail in life, first thing you do, Ramya, is give yourself a pat on the back, because remember that you are one of the people who actually at least tried. There are a whole lot of people who don't even try in their lives. So you're already ahead of the pack because you tried. In order to fail, you need to try, and you're one of the people who did that. So it's not just about accepting failure, it's about being proud of your failure. Okay. I even tell people that wear your failures like a soldier wears his badges. Okay. If you read my book, if you hear any of my TED Talks, if or not just mine, a lot of other people, we will be talking about your failures. We will not be ashamed of our failures, right? There was a point in my time in life when I woke up and I was bust. I I had lost all of my entire life savings. But I don't shirk from telling people that, because that really made me stop, take a pause in my life and reflect on what went wrong and what I can do better and how do I get out of the situation, right? So the way to deal with failure is first not to be ashamed of it, but to be proud of at least trying. The second thing that you do is you take stock of the situation, right? Before you ready to go ahead into your next phase, don't just look for, oh my God, I lost my job. So for example, if you lose your job, don't just go for the next job, whatever you get. No, take a deep breath, be calm. And before you take the next step after a failure, regroup yourself to figure out what next you want to do in life. And the third step is learn from your failures, right? And analyze what went wrong and what you can do better. Like, for example, if you don't crack your exams well, what went wrong? There's something wrong in the learning process that you followed. Maybe you didn't manage your time correctly in the last 3 months, right? Maybe your style of studying wasn't right. Maybe you didn't attend the live classes enough. Could be anything, right? So do these three things. Okay, what else? Very wonderful, great session. Harshita is saying, um, um, when we again a question on failure. Um, when we face failure, it makes me underestimate myself. How to overcome from that mindset? Pradeep Akash is asking. So exactly like I said, Pradeep Akash, you don't have to underestimate yourself. See, failure. Remember this one line, okay? Failing at something doesn't mean that you are a failure. It means you just did a task wrongly. So big deal. Today, if I sing today, I might not be able to sing very well. Does that mean I'm a terrible singer? No, maybe I just didn't sing that song well, right? So then I have to learn how to sing that song well, and I'll become a better singer. So just because you failed doesn't mean you are a failure. It just means you didn't do it to the best possible way it should have been done. And figure out, it's just a process, figure out where you went wrong. Okay, Vincent is saying very nice presentation. Thank you. Oh, the questions are going so fast, ma'am. How can someone cut down negative thoughts in order? The question went away. There has to be a better way to do this, guys.
I will do one thing, ma'am. I will take the questions for you, ma'am. Shall I?
Yeah, please do that, because there's so many, but I can't read the entire question. It just moves.
Okay, I will read a question. There is a question from Amit Kumar. Ma'am, how can someone cut down the negative thoughts in order to achieve their goals?
So Amit Kumar asked how to cut out negative thoughts to achieve goals. Great question, Amit. I'll give you a very short, crisp answer for this. Thoughts come into your mind when your mind is empty. Okay, the more empty your mind is, the more thoughts will come into your mind. Now just think of it like this glass of water. If it's full right up till here and I keep pouring water into it, what will happen? It will overflow, right? So first of all, if you want good thoughts to come into your glass, you have to empty it of negative thoughts. How do you empty it of negative thoughts? By the simple method of doing new stuff. If you have too much negativity in your head, stop thinking and start doing. Yeah. So stop thinking and start doing, right? The moment you fill up your schedule in a day with activities, is the moment that you start beating negativity. And this is scientifically proven. The more you sit around and keep thinking, the more negative thoughts that you get. So just whenever negative thoughts come into your mind, get up and do something. Do anything, get your mind off it. The better the activity that you get involved in, the better your output and the better that you will feel. So the only way to get over negative thoughts is by taking more and more action in your life, because action in your life will get more positivity into your life and fill up your head with positive thoughts, and there will be no space for negativity left. Next.
Thank you, ma'am. There is a question from Nadima. Ma'am, I want to become a speaker. What are the various ways you can suggest me?
Okay. I didn't catch the name.
Nadima.
Nadima wants to become a speaker, you said.
Yes, ma'am. She wants to be a speaker.
So great. Nidima, here is how you do it. Okay. And this answer probably is generic enough for not just to become a speaker, but a lot of aspirations that you guys might have. Whenever you have a big aspiration in life, first of all, Nadima, sometimes it looks too big to achieve, right? So you have to, just like leadership. Okay, great. How do I become a great leader? That's the problem. So what you do is I have this concept of the ladder concept, right? Which means you start building, coming down from the ladder. For example, if you want to become a great speaker, what does it imply? You need to have the ability to stand up, for example, on stage in front of huge crowds of unknown people and deliver great speeches that are impactful and leave some meaning, right? So that sounds like really big to achieve. So you can't do that on day one. So what do you do on day one? You come down one step further. It means that why not do something smaller, like address smaller crowds of people when you're giving a presentation. If you think you're not even ready for that, come down one step further in the ladder. Okay, maybe just a presentation in the class that you attend. Why not start from there? If even that sounds too difficult on day one, then move one step further. Just give a small talk without any presentation, without anything. Just give a small talk in your group of friends. If that is also too small, too big for you to bite on day one, then just find a tree, find 5 people, make them sit under it and start a conversation. It need not be a speech, right? Like speakers give. Just start a conversation where other people and everybody is exchanging thoughts, and learn how to speak and have yourself heard within a group. You will learn the art of thinking along with people. You will learn the art of how to communicate better. You will learn the art of how your message has to be tuned in order for it to be received by other people. So you have to, so whenever you have an objective which is really high, all that you have to do is start breaking it down into smaller and smaller steps, and you will reach your smallest one, which you says, hi, ye to mujhse ho jayega. So do that and then move on to the next one and the next one and the next one.
Thank you, ma'am. There is a question from Annoyed Joshua. Everyone can't be a leader, ma'am. So how can we need to be a good member under a leader?
First of all, here's the thing. Definition of leadership is something that we need to rebuild in the current and future context. Okay, we think of leaders only, or rather we use the term leaders only thinking about like top CEOs or top management people or top politicians or things like that. But you cannot, and this is very important, do not associate the term leader with the title of your job. Okay, in order to become a leader, you don't need a C in your job. Okay, all of us, leadership is a quality that you need to start inculcating from day one. You can be at a very entry level position in your organization, but demonstrate the skills of a leader. Have you heard of this concept that entrepreneurship, for example, entrepreneurship is a mindset that you need to inculcate. And even if you're not an entrepreneur, you can have an entrepreneurial skill set. So in fact, going forward, I tell people that, hey, you need to learn an entrepreneurial skill set, even if you're not going to have build your own startup, because that helps you in life. Similarly, for leadership, it's not about just becoming a CEO or becoming a team lead, right? At every level, you should start building up those qualities which a leader has, and therefore you can demonstrate leadership at any level of your hierarchy or your career. Okay, and which is extremely important. It's not going to be like for 12 years of your life you are nothing and suddenly one day you become a leader. It doesn't work like that. For 12 years of your life you keep learning, implementing and demonstrating the qualities of a leader, and then you're given bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger roles of greater responsibility and impact. So even like I said, remember the very first point, one of the qualities is that you need to collaborate with people and learn how to work with people. So when you're starting out in your career, it is equally important how to work in teams, how to be able to work in teams, because if you don't work well with people, then how will you lead them, right? When you work well with people, you need to be able to demonstrate what value you bring to them on the table. So if, for example, you are very good at making presentations, for example, and you're working in a team in your organization or something, right? Even if you can't contribute too much to whatever topic is going on, you can say that, hey, I know I haven't done much here in the content, but I really am good at putting slides together and I'm very good at that. So you do that for your team, collaborate with your team. And that is also a way of learning how to build leadership qualities. Okay, thanks.
Ma'am, there is a question from Nikhil. How to deal with the team members when their concern is required but they are not responding at all? Maybe due to lack of interest of knowledge, how to tackle the situation to take it future and get work done. How to deal with the peoples in the team, if I'm shorting it out.
How do you deal with your mom? Deal with your dad? How do you deal with your siblings at home? करते हो ना deal, Nikhil, right? So similarly, you have to first of all appreciate that all human beings are different. Okay, there is no right or wrong in terms of human beings. Okay, there is only a right or wrong in law. Okay, but otherwise in life there is no right or wrong. You can be an introvert, you can be an extrovert, you can be outgoing, you can not be outgoing, right? So everybody has different qualities. So do not expect, do not even want that everybody should be like you. Appreciate diversity. You're going to hear this term n times when you start going into your corporate space. Diversity doesn't just mean sex, religion, blah blah blah. It also means about what diverse thoughts, what diverse personalities and skill sets you get to the table, right? So whenever you're looking at somebody and you see that he's a very difficult person to work with, right? The trick that you can use is that instead of focusing what makes him so difficult to work with or what you dislike so much about him, find out the one thing which makes him good. Okay, so instead of the 9 things which you don't like, find out the one thing which you do like and focus on that, right? It's very similar to that very generic saying, logo mein acha dekho, right? Look for the good in people. But it really translates to that in your work life as well. Everybody has power in doing something good. Everybody is good at something. Find out what they are good at and you will learn how to work with them better. The more you focus on what somebody brings to the table in the positive, you will be able to deal with the negative that they bring better, because you will start focusing on what they do well. And in fact, you should share that back with them also in terms of what they do well, and you will start, bondings are made on strengths, bondings are not made on weaknesses. Okay, I hope that answers it.
Okay, ma'am, it's already 2 o'clock. Should I take a couple of questions more?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, there is a question from Sajid PM. How to get out of the comfort zone and to lead into success? How to get out of the comfort zone?
To get out of the comfort zone.
Yes. And
Okay.
how to
Well, and
and how to become success? He's mentioning the questions continues. How to become success?
okay. So I'm glad that you at least realize that you need to come out of the comfort zone. Okay, so that is the first step. You've already taken the first step, which is realization and understanding that sitting in a comfort zone is not going to get you anywhere, right? Because if you don't push yourself, if you don't challenge yourself, you will not go up. So you've already ticked one of the boxes. The second thing is how to make that move, right? Um, so there are some tricks to it. One is one of the most important ways of making yourself move or making your butt move is to give yourself a deadline. Okay, if you give yourself a deadline, like for example, once I was creating a course, right, and life happened and I just kind of forgot about it. And then one fine day I went again on my laptop, I said, oh, I'm going to make that course or whatever, and then I saw over there that I'd started that file 8 months back, right? But then I just forgotten about it and life was fine and cushy. And I realized to myself, oh my God, what am I doing? So what did I do to overcome that? I literally just set up a crazy deadline for myself. Crazy, but I knew it was doable if I pushed myself. And I said, in 2 weeks, I'm going to do something because have go to TED. Okay, go to the TEDx channel and watch this talk given by Tim Urban. Okay, it's on procrastination, and it's an amazing talk because there he talks about this procrastination monkey and how you can really overcome this procrastination monkey to get your butt out of the comfort zone and out to get moving. And he explained about this procrastination cycle or loop that we fall into as human beings. And the one of the main key learnings of that was that the big decisions in life don't have deadlines. So how do you overcome that? You create deadlines for yourself. And you can even get one step closer, which means that you announce these to the world. So what did I do? I have 100,000 people on social media following me. I made an announcement that in 2 weeks, I'm going to bring to you something amazing, right? Now I didn't have anything of the course ready, but I already committed and I put my self-respect on the line in front of these 1 lakh people by announcing beforehand that I was going to come up and do something great, right? So that kind of built reverse pressure for me to get up, get out of the comfort zone and start moving my butt. If you apply that to your life, you could announce your decision to your mother, your sister, or your friends, and because that creates kind of reverse pressure for you to get out of your comfort zone and just kind of start moving. Okay, that's like one of
Ma'am,
the things.
yeah, I will take a final question, ma'am. There's a question from Fawad. How to market our brand, self brand.
Okay. So at this point of time, Fawad, in life, I think you need to first focus on building your brand. Okay. The marketing always becomes easy when you have enough content to market, right? So I think for the first few years of your life, you need to be focusing on building, and then you start focusing on marketing. But in terms of marketing, what it really boils down to, Fawad, is that whenever you're communicating with people, right, in whichever way, whether it's formal, informal, whether it's online, it's offline, whether it's in the workplace or outside, you need to let your personality shine. Because when you do that, that is when people will get to know who you are. And that is the crux of being a brand, about knowing what you stand for. Okay, so always let the you in you, the personality on you shine out, and don't hide that when you're interacting with people in any sphere of life. Okay. The tools to do that professionally are many. Of course, you can use a lot of platforms, but it's important to not use these platforms in a very tick in the box kind of way, like even LinkedIn. For example, 22 years of my career, right? But I've only used LinkedIn effectively for about 8-9 months, the last year, basically. Earlier, before that, I was just somebody looking good, of course, but still just one of the buddies on somebody's on LinkedIn, right? I didn't really leverage the tool. But the moment you start sharing your thoughts with the world, okay, that is when the world will get to know about who you are and what your brand is. And really, that is the crux of marketing. Marketing means what? Making your voice heard to the right set of people and giving the right message. That's what marketing is. Right? So get your message clear in terms of who you are, work on the product in terms of what skill sets you want to develop, and thirdly, you have to figure out your stream of broadcasting, which means when you're meeting people, when you're talking to people, when you're conducting yourself at your workplace, or when you're using tools like LinkedIn and all of the others to share your thoughts. Remember, it's not about having a CV. Visiting card means nothing. A CV means nothing. It's about your thoughts and how you communicate with them with the rest of the world. So, for example, if you're in office, then learn to speak up during meetings so that people understand what is there inside you and in that brand of you, right? Similarly, if you're on LinkedIn, start sharing posts about where you went, what you learned, and what you can give back to the world. So, so that is about marketing your brand, right? Getting your voice heard and your message delivered to the people that matter. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. There are many more questions coming up. I would request the participants to please contact ma'am via LinkedIn. I have shared the LinkedIn link to you guys. I request because it's already 2:10. Yeah, we are over the time. So shall we conclude, ma'am? Or I
Yes,
think
absolutely. It's been lovely interacting with all of you. Please feel free, like he said, to connect with me over LinkedIn. If you do it today, I will just blindly accept it because sometimes I start seeing who it is and all, but today I just will not. So just send me a request today and I will accept your request. I do always reply on LinkedIn unless it's a ridiculous message, but I do always reply. So do connect me over that. I'm there on Instagram as well. If you just want to follow my thoughts and all, you can share handles with him as well. My email IDs are also there. You can contact me through my website, geetikasehgal.com as well. So there are a lot of ways of getting to me. I'm always available for you. I'm sure I will be getting in touch with you again very soon and sharing things which I can teach you and that you can learn from and that we can interact over in the coming few weeks now that we have gotten to meet on this platform. So here's to you becoming a great leader tomorrow. Start.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot for your valuable time, and thanks for sharing all your thoughts over here. And I really thank you for your valuable time and that you have shared all the valuable information over here. I also thank all the participants gathered over here. I will share the feedback link and the recordings of this webinar will be shared soon. We'll be uploading in the YouTube channel and will be shared with you soon. I shall share the feedback form also with you participants. Please have a couple of minutes to fill it out. And thank you all. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day. Thank you, ma'am.
My pleasure. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.